Venezuelan gunboats open fire on American oil tanker 89 miles off Florida coast. 3 sailors dead. $340 million in crude burning. President Maduro declares economic exclusion zone. America's response comes in 90 minutes. Welcome to War in America's Backyard. February 12, 2025. The MT Patriot Eagle, a Liberian-flagged tanker chartered by Marathon Petroleum, crosses international waters, heading to Port Everglades. Standard route, regular cargo, 2.1 million barrels of crude oil worth $180 million. At 7:23 a.m., Venezuelan Navy patrol boats intercept 4 Guaycamacuto-class vessels armed with 30mm cannons and anti-ship missiles. They order the tanker to stop, claim violation of Venezuelan territorial waters. The Patriot Eagle's captain refuses. He's in international waters, 89 miles from Miami, 67 miles from Venezuelan coast. The law is clear. Venezuelan commanders don't care about law, they care about politics. President Maduro announced the Caribbean exclusion zone 3 weeks earlier. Any vessel trading with nations that sanction Venezuela gets seized. Any ship refusing inspection gets attacked. America called it illegal, unenforceable, a desperate dictator's fantasy. Now, Venezuelan 30mm rounds slam into the Patriot Eagle's superstructure. The bridge erupts in flames. 3 American contract sailors die in the first burst. Captain Michael Torres, Engineer David Kim, radio operator Sarah Mitchell. Their crime was carrying oil through international waters. The tanker's distress signal reaches U.S. Coast Guard Station Miami at 7:24 a.m. Mayday call. Under attack. Coordinates transmitted. 2 Coast Guard cutters respond immediately, USCGC James and USCGC Monroe, both Hamilton-class cutters, armed with 76mm cannons and 50 caliber machine guns. Speed 29 knots. They're 34 miles away, 20 minutes to intercept. But Venezuelan patrol boats aren't waiting. They launch 2 Chinese-made C-802 anti-ship missiles at the burning tanker. Both hit. The Patriot Eagle breaks in half. 2.1 million barrels of crude spill into the Caribbean. The largest oil disaster since Deepwater Horizon. What's your take on this situation? Type A if USA should respond with overwhelming force. Type B if diplomatic pressure is smarter. U.S. Coast Guard cutters arrive at 7:47 a.m. The Venezuelan boats are gone, fled south at full speed. Only wreckage remains, oil slick spreading. Survivors in the water, 17 crew members rescued, 3 confirmed dead. The cutters don't pursue. They're not warships. Rules of engagement restrict offensive action. But this attack just changed everything. American sailors killed in international waters. By a hostile nation, 89 miles from Florida. The proximity makes it worse. This isn't Afghanistan. This isn't Syria. This is America's maritime doorstep. President's emergency meeting convenes at 8:15 a.m. National Security Council, Joint Chiefs, key cabinet members. The discussion lasts 12 minutes. Options are clear. Economic sanctions already maxed out. Diplomatic isolation already complete. Military response is the only option left. Authorization granted at 8:27 a.m. U.S. Southern Command gets the execute order. Operation Caribbean Shield goes active. USS Gettysburg and Ticonderoga-class cruiser patrolling near Puerto Rico receives orders at 8:31 a.m. Proceed to Venezuelan waters. Establish air defense umbrella. Protect American interests. The Gettysburg carries 122 vertical launch cells loaded with SM-2, SM-6, and Tomahawk missiles. Aegis Combat System can track 200 targets simultaneously. This floating fortress cost $1.2 billion. It's designed to dominate maritime battle space. Venezuela's entire navy is worth less than 1 American cruiser. Venezuelan President Maduro addresses his nation at 9 a.m. local time, defiant, triumphant. He claims the tanker violated territorial sovereignty, calls America an imperialist aggressor, promises to defend Venezuelan waters at any cost. Behind the rhetoric, his military prepares. Su-30 fighters scramble from Francisco de Miranda Air Base. S-300 air defense systems go active around Caracas. Coastal artillery positions man their guns. Venezuela has 123,000 active military personnel, 8,000 reserves, Soviet-era equipment mixed with Chinese and Russian imports. On paper, a formidable force. In reality, poorly trained and barely functional. But Venezuela doesn't stand alone. Cuban advisors have been embedded with Venezuelan forces for years. 4,500 Cuban military personnel providing training, intelligence, logistics. Russian technicians maintain the S-300 systems. Chinese liaison officers coordinate naval operations. This isn't just Venezuela, this is a proxy confrontation with three adversarial powers, testing American resolve in the Western Hemisphere. Don't miss what happens next. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss crucial military analysis like this. At 10:47 a.m., the first American strike launches. Not from ships, from submarines. USS Albany, a Los Angeles-class attack submarine positioned 140 miles offshore, fires 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles. Targets selected with surgical precision. Venezuelan coastal radar sites, Naval Command Center in Caracas, communications relay stations, anti-ship missile batteries along the coast. The Tomahawks fly 550 miles per hour at 50 feet altitude, terrain hugging, nearly impossible to intercept. They hit at 11:03 a.m. Venezuelan time. The Venezuelan Navy's flagship, the frigate Almirante Brion, explodes at pier. A Tomahawk penetrates the magazine. 200 pounds of ordnance detonates. The ship disintegrates. 180 sailors killed. Nearby vessels catch fire from the blast. Venezuela's largest warship destroyed without ever leaving port. This is American power projection. Reach anywhere, strike anything, disappear without trace. Venezuelan S-300 systems detect incoming missiles. They launch 23 interceptors. All miss. The Tomahawks are too low, too fast, too sophisticated. One by one, targets explode. Radar sites go dark. Command centers collapse. Communications fail. Within 16 minutes, Venezuela's integrated air defense loses 40% effectiveness. American cyber warfare compounds the damage. Malware inserted months ago activates. Venezuelan military networks crash. Radars show ghost contacts. Communications fill with gibberish. This is 21st century warfare. You're defeated before you know you're under attack. Colombian government offers immediate support. Historic tensions with Venezuela override regional solidarity. Colombia opens air bases to American forces. Palenquero Air Base becomes staging ground for F-15E Strike Eagles. 12 aircraft arrive from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base within 6 hours, each loaded with 23,000 pounds of ordnance, JDAM precision bombs, HARM anti-radiation missiles, AIM-120 air-to-air missiles. These fighters can strike any target in Venezuela from Colombian territory. Maduro's worst nightmare becomes real: war on two fronts. Brazilian government takes a different approach, refuses to support military action, condemns American strikes as violation of sovereignty. But Brazil also refuses Venezuelan requests for military aid. Neutrality serves their interests. Let the giants fight. Brazil protects its own borders. Regional politics prove complicated. Old alliances mean less than national interests. This kind of detailed tactical breakdown takes hours to research. Subscribe to help us keep making content like this. At 2:34 p.m., Venezuelan Air Force attempts retaliation. 6 Su-30 Mk-2 fighters launch from Barcelona Air Base. Russian-made, capable aircraft, armed with R-77 air-to-air missiles and Kh-31 anti-ship missiles. Their mission: strike American vessels near Puerto Rico. The problem? They never make it 200 miles. American E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft detects them immediately. Data links to FA-18 Super Hornets flying combat air patrol. 4 Hornets intercept at 220 miles. The Venezuelan pilots never see their attackers. AIM-120D missiles launch from beyond visual range. 4 Su-30s explode. 2 pilots eject. The remaining 2 Venezuelan fighters turn back. Venezuela just lost 2/3 of one sortie. Air superiority lasts 4 minutes. Cuban government issues stern warning. Any attack on Venezuelan civilian infrastructure will trigger Cuban military response. The threat rings hollow. Cuba has 49,000 active troops, aging Soviet equipment, no ability to project power. But Cuban intelligence services are formidable. They've been spying on America for 60 years. DGI agents throughout South Florida. Sleeper cells activated. Sabotage becomes the Cuban contribution. Small bombs at military recruitment centers. Cyber attacks on logistics networks. Propaganda campaigns targeting Hispanic communities. This is asymmetric warfare. When you can't win conventionally, you win unconventionally. Russian Foreign Ministry condemns American aggression. Promises technical support to Venezuela. 2 Russian intelligence ships deployed toward the Caribbean. Signals intelligence vessels monitoring American communications. Tracking ship movements. Providing targeting data to Venezuelan forces. Russia won't fight America directly, but they'll help Venezuela fight smarter. This is Cold War playbook updated for modern times. What would you do if you commanded Venezuelan forces against this American onslaught? Comment your strategy below. At 4:15 p.m., the USS Gettysburg arrives on station, 50 miles off Venezuelan coast. Combat systems active. Air defense umbrella established. No aircraft can approach without detection. No ship can operate without being tracked. The cruiser becomes an impenetrable shield. Behind that shield, American power builds. USS Kearsarge, a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship, steams toward the area, carrying 1-800 Marines. 6 AV-8B Harrier jets, 12 CH-53 heavy helicopters, 4 UH-1Y attack helicopters. This is invasion capability, not just strikes, actual ground combat power. Venezuelan military faces catastrophic losses in the first 8 hours. 23 aircraft destroyed on the ground or shot down. 8 ships sunk or burning. 47 radar installations eliminated. 340 military personnel killed. 890 wounded. Command and control shattered. Air defense compromised. Naval power eliminated. All without a single American casualty. This is the capability gap between First World and Third World militaries. Technology, training, experience, resources. Every advantage belongs to one side. Colombian army mobilizes 3 brigades along Venezuelan border. 9,000 troops. M113 armored personnel carriers. Artillery battalions, not invading. Just positioning. Creating pressure. Forcing Venezuela to defend multiple fronts. Dividing already limited resources. Colombia remembers Venezuelan support for FARC guerrillas. Decades of cross-border terrorism. Payback tastes sweet. Maduro's government fractures under pressure. 3 generals defect to Colombia in the first 24 hours, taking classified intelligence with them. Disposition of forces, location of command bunkers, loyalist units versus questionable units. This intelligence flows directly to American planners. Every defection weakens the regime. Every intelligence leak costs Venezuelan lives. Dictatorships are strong until tested. Then they crack along every fault line. If you made it this far, you're part of our core community. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Day 2 begins with American Special Operations. Navy SEALs infiltrate Venezuela's coast, targeting oil infrastructure. Not to destroy, to seize. Venezuelan oil belongs to American companies legally, seized through nationalization. Now American commandos take it back. Refineries, pumping stations, storage facilities, small teams, precise operations, minimal casualties, maximum strategic impact. Within 48 hours, Venezuela's oil production drops 60%. Revenue collapses. Government can't pay military, can't buy weapons, can't sustain operations. International reaction splits predictably. NATO allies support American action. Self-defense clearly established. UN Security Council debates resolution. Russia and China veto anything supporting America. America vetoes anything condemning military action. The UN proves useless, as always. When great powers clash, international organizations become irrelevant. Oil markets spike immediately. Venezuelan production offline. Caribbean shipping disrupted. Traders panic. Brent crude hits $135 per barrel. American Strategic Petroleum Reserve releases 30 million barrels, stabilizing markets, demonstrating preparation. This is economic warfare parallel to military operations. Control supply. Manage prices, weaponize energy. Venezuelan ground forces never engage. They can't. American air superiority makes movement suicidal. Any convoy spotted gets destroyed by precision strikes. Any troop concentration gets hammered by JDAMs. The Venezuelan army sits in barracks, waiting, hoping, praying America doesn't invade. Some units start deserting. Why die for a regime that can't defend itself? Why fight an unwinnable war? At 9 p.m. on day 2, American psychological operations begin. Leaflets dropped over military bases. Radio broadcasts in Spanish. Social media campaigns. The message is simple: defect and live. Fight and die. Regime cannot protect you. America offers asylum, money, future. Thousands of Venezuelan soldiers receive these messages. Some dismiss them, some believe, some plan their escape. Day 3 brings escalation from unexpected source. Chinese Foreign Ministry announces freedom of navigation operation in the Caribbean. Planned destroyer Xining begins transit toward Venezuelan waters, claiming international right of passage. Actually showing support for Maduro, testing American resolve. Will the U.S. Navy confront Chinese warships in the Caribbean? How far is America willing to push? USS Gettysburg tracks the Xining from 400 miles out. Chinese destroyer enters Caribbean through the Panama Canal. American intelligence monitors every transmission, every course change, every radar emission. When the Xining reaches 200 miles from Venezuelan coast, American destroyers intercept. Not hostile, just present. 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers shadow the Chinese ship. Constant observation, unspoken threat. The message is clear: you can watch, you cannot interfere. Chinese captain maintains course but doesn't approach Venezuelan territorial waters. Face saved, confrontation avoided, for now. Your engagement directly shapes what we cover next. Drop a comment and subscribe to stay informed. By day 5, Venezuelan resistance collapses. Government offers ceasefire negotiations. America sets terms. Maduro steps down. Democratic elections supervised internationally. Venezuelan military reduced by 70%. All foreign military advisors expelled. Oil nationalization reversed. American companies regain assets. These aren't negotiations. These are surrender terms. Maduro rejects them, but his generals don't. Military coup occurs at 3 a.m. on day 6. Maduro arrested by his own security forces. Junta offers unconditional surrender. America accepts. Total casualties stagger belief. 2,400 Venezuelan military killed, 6,700 wounded, 340 civilians dead from collateral damage. American losses? 3 sailors killed in the initial attack, 0 combat deaths, 12 wounded in special operations. The gap between modern military powers and regional forces is absolute. Technology matters, training matters, experience matters, resources matter most of all. Regional implications reshape Latin America. Colombia emerges stronger, border secured, old enemy defeated. Brazil maintains neutrality but loses influence. Cuba isolated further. Russian and Chinese proxies exposed as hollow. American military dominance in Western Hemisphere reestablished. Monroe Doctrine updated for 21st century. The Caribbean remains American lake. Was this war justified by the initial attack, or did America overreact to establish dominance? Leave your honest assessment in the comments. The economic aftermath reshapes Venezuelan society. Oil production gradually returns under international supervision. Sanctions lifted, investment returns. But rebuilding takes years. Decades of socialist mismanagement can't be fixed overnight. Venezuela transitions from dictatorship to democracy. Whether that democracy survives remains uncertain. American military learns valuable lessons. Precision strikes work. Cyber warfare is decisive. Intelligence defeats numbers. Special operations achieve strategic goals. But proximity matters. Caribbean is 90 miles from Florida, not 6,000 miles like Taiwan. Supply lines are short. Response time is minutes. This is America's hemisphere. That geography determines outcomes. To adversaries who think America is overstretched, understand this reality clearly. American military can fight anywhere. Project power everywhere. Sustain operations indefinitely. This Caribbean conflict occurred while maintaining commitments in Europe, Asia, Middle East. Not even full effort. Just routine deployment. That's not weakness. That's depth of capability unmatched in human history. 3 final questions for deep consideration. First, should regional conflicts be resolved militarily or diplomatically when American lives are lost? Second, does proximity to U.S. territory justify overwhelming military response? Third, what prevents other nations from testing American resolve in our hemisphere? Your analysis matters. Drop it in comments. Share this with anyone who needs to understand American military power. Subscribe because threats don't take breaks. When enemies attack 89 miles from Florida, response must be immediate and decisive. That's not aggression, that's survival.